Director of Ceremonies, Bruce is obviously very kind. It won't change the price of diamonds that we sell to De Beers. My very dear wife and First Lady of Botswana, Mrs. Neo Jane Masisi, honorable ministers here present, the CEO of De Beers, Mr. Bruce Cleaver, captains of industry, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, a very good morning to all of you. Let me begin by telling you a little story before I go to the hard issues about Botswana. This story is particularly important to set the context, because many of you might not know where Botswana is and what Botswana is about. But before we became a nation state, we had our destiny predetermined by the circumstances of our first leader, Sir Khama. At that time, Mr. Khama. As a student in the UK, he fell in love. Yes, he fell in love with a young white lady. A man from the colonies with the royal heritage fell in love with a lily-white English girl, Ruth Williams. And Bechuanaland Protectorate at that time, sat smack next to apartheid South Africa. And the British government was made to feel the heat by the South African authorities and did not tolerate this marriage. But the resolve of this young man, the commitment to his beloved wife, was much stronger than the power and force that nations as powerful as South Africa and the United Kingdom Colonial Office could muster at the time. It was no wonder he began in the formation of the party that won the elections and formed a government in 1966 as we gained our independence. That is the foundation of our commitment to non-racial discrimination. That's a foundation and bedrock of the values that have remained timeless in the evolution of my country, Botswana. Clear, with color, resilient, resolute, and the bond of love between the two was so hard. It's no wonder diamonds were to be discovered in their land, which too represent turgidity, resilience, integrity, resolve, and above all else, clarity and value. And so in the shaping of my nation state, Botswana, that have become a part of us now, we're very much a part of this own making as a state. And for all of us here, myself included, our value systems have been shaped by such values towards humanity and towards other citizens. And so I've come to tell the story to you about how when we discovered diamonds in 1967 by De Beers, being one of the poorest countries on earth, through our foreign interaction, we sought help from Canada. And the experts from Canada gave us a good advice of meeting De Beers as equal partners, even though we were so unequal to them. And that was the birth of Botswana, a 50-50 partnership between the government of Botswana and De Beers. It's the longest, oldest, most resilient and impenetrable partnership between the public sector and the private sector as I know of. That not only is celebrating its 50th this year, but will clearly celebrate its 100th year another 50 years from now and beyond. So our commitment, our loyalty to partners, our commitment to the cause, and our assurance to yourselves that we will continue to give you these precious, ethically mined resources is as axiomatic and solid as the sun rising in the east and setting in the west. So stay assured, our diamonds, which currently in the mining field of the 4 mines of Botswana is the largest private sector employer, employing a significant 12,600 people, 98% of whom are citizens, will continue to be mined safely, cleanly, and will be given to you to buy, not for free. And the proceeds from those will continue to do the good work that they've done for the last 50-something odd years since our independence, or since their discovery, rather. The very fact that Botswana is the largest private sector entity in the country, and that has been so successful, is testament to the fact that this government is deeply committed to yielding a private sector-led economy. And so, as I would want to put it to you, the discovery of the mineral wealth in Botswana, the utilization of that mineral wealth as we transformed our society and the infrastructure space from being among the poorest in the world to an upper middle income status, speaks volumes about prudence, frugality, and purposefulness. It speaks to issues of stability. It speaks to issues of good governance in the management of our endowments. And so that I'd like you to view as our first phase of transformation. The discovery of diamonds with the funds raised from such being used to develop not just the roads, but the people. And sadly, as sometimes happens in life, an unforeseen, unwanted epidemic struck us, HIV and AIDS. But we didn't bury our heads in the sand. We confronted it. And it was through the leadership of this country. The then President Festus Mogae led a crusade, went out, ventured to the international community to get help. And help he did. He got it from some of the leading experts in the world and some of the leading pharmaceutical companies in the world. And clearly, Botswana was among those at the very forefront. How could it not be? If it is to continue to bring to the surface this precious resource, using the people who know most about it and who care most about it. And so we rolled out antiretroviral therapy nationally, very successfully. We hit impressive targets in the prevention of mother-to-child transmission, up to 95% and beyond. And so for the first time, through medical intervention, we were beginning to birth children from HIV-positive parents who themselves were HIV negative. Thanks to diamonds. You will realize, as I talk, that we have been taught and taught well, as a people and as a nation state, as leaders, to care. And care we do. So we care for our people. We care for our visitors. We care for our cooperating partners. We care for our business partners. And so this expression of care, demonstrated by this successful rollout of the PMTCT and other antiretroviral interventions, was testimony to this caring spirit. And so we proceeded to further enact legislation that ensured that we compelled everybody to care and the government to care. But never did we lose sight or campus of our obligation to develop. So even as we had this setback in our first transformation, we spent a lot of our money, a lot of our human capital on ensuring that as these mines grew, we prepared for the eventual closure. And that meant the best of environmental stewardship. Because, sadly, diamonds, and I mean diamonds, not anything else calling itself a diamond, diamonds, are finite. We will get a time where they are exhausted, but never will diamonds end, because it's not a pun, they are forever. They are hard. They've been developed over millions of years, using forces of nature that you cannot even master. And they will be on that finger, in that family where they belong beyond many generations. We are acutely aware of that. And we're glad you also care. Because clearly the very fact that you buy our diamonds is by itself an act of commitment to our country, because wherever you are, in your stores, with your customers, you carry that bit of Botswana with you. Please care for it, because we care about it. Please use it wisely, because we've used it wisely. And the clarity of thought is brought about by a realization that we have serious development challenges before us, as we have ourselves articulated through our planning processes in our National Development Plan 11, even though we're going for midterm review soon, and our Vision 2036, our long-term national vision, including the Sustainable Development Goals. With their contribution, approximately 35% of our GDP coming from diamonds, they remain the most important source of revenue to my government and to our people. The commitment to safety, the commitment to ethical mining has compelled the Botswana government and De Beers Group, through their joint company, Botswana, to place the highest standards and demands on its employees in their behavior as they mine, to the extent that there is zero harm has become a goal in the mines. And one mine in particular, my wife likes to call the Prince of Mines. And by the way, yes, my wife was working for that mine when I was dating her. Gosh, I think back to those years. They've recorded a serious decline in recordable injury frequency rate trends in the years between 2011 and 2018, from 1.39 to 0.23. That's their degree and extent of commitment to safety in the mines. And, it's not that we're not thinking about the future, because the leadership that I've assumed of the country since last year, and the outlook of Botswana, our partner, compels all of us to deliver on our long-term vision, 2036, which is a futuristic vision. And so it is that we're in the space and place to utilize our revenue from diamonds to craft out a future for ourselves that enhances what we have, that grows the pie, that leverages on our achievements, and propels us into a knowledge economy. And so the intellectual capital we seek, we yearn for, will result in an increasing number of young people like the young Morato Achamme, who comes from Botswana, attends Stanford, and will be a global solution provider, not a village solution provider only. We want to leverage on our successes. We've set aside more than 40% of our land mass. Some of our most pristine ecosystems have not only been protected by the laws of Botswana, but we have actually sought international support by listing some of these sites as Ramsar sites, to protect not only our ecosystems, to protect our second-to-none abundant wildlife resources. And some of you may have seen wildlife or something close to wildlife. You ain't seen it until you come to Botswana. If you don't believe me, if you can shut your eyes and envision the world as described in the book of Genesis, when you go to Botswana, you will see it as if it were done yesterday. Animals are animals, trees are trees, and the laws of nature take full authority. And it's because we care. We have deliberately denied ourselves that land, and we continue to iterate with our people to deny ourselves that land and that resource so we can protect that which others have not been able to protect as successfully. Not just for ourselves, not just for posterity, but for the likes of yourselves and others who come from places that do not have what we have. So come along. Bruce's invitation was serious, and our welcome is even more serious. Visit and come and enjoy the wonders of nature. And so into the future, as I was talking about the next transformation, when we get to the knowledge economy, is to get a lot of you jewelers, a lot of your customers, to not only visit Botswana and view and experience its bright skies, the best sunsets in the world, and chat around the bushfire, surrounded by sounds of the night like you've never heard, and visit a diamond mine. Go see for yourselves where the diamonds come from. They're genuine, they are authentic, they are hard, and they are men and women committed to their families, committed to good, who work in these mines, who spend their income on educating their children and building homes for themselves. That's all we do. It's a simple ask, but please come along. I want to end by thanking JCK, thanking De Beers, thanking you, very attentive audience, for your attention. And when you come to Botswana, just let me know. Thank you.